Welcome back, everyone. I've got something for you today that, wow, it's very echoey in here. Hello. I didn't realize that until I started my video. What I've got for you today, for today's online workshop, is something that might seem very simple, but it's fundamentally the most important thing in your Taiji form practice, and it's the concept of getting our movement to work in perfect harmonization with our breath. Now, that does not just mean breathing in as you do a movement and breathing out as you do another movement. It means the whole concept of your breath. When you breathe in, what happens to your body when you breathe in? And what happens to your body when you breathe out? It pulsates, it expands and opens, and it relaxes down and contracts as you breathe out. It's this waving sensation that goes through your body when you simply breathe. You don't have to do anything else with your body. If you simply breathe correctly, for starters. You've got to learn how to breathe correctly. Most people need to relearn how to breathe, just like we need to relearn how to run. People have to learn how to run. Isn't that an amazing concept? Children don't have to, when they're waddling around, yes, technically speaking, they learn how to run, but they learn it subconsciously, as in they teach themselves. They don't need someone to tell them, oh, you've got to do this and do that when you run. They just run correctly. Posture is another thing. Children walk around with perfect posture all the time. My kids do anyway. All kids do. I've never seen a child, a young child, with poor posture. The only reason they develop poor posture is unnatural living habits. So we have to relearn how to stand upright, just like we have to relearn how to breathe. Because if our body's like this a lot of the time, hunched over, we don't breathe correctly. We'll end up lifting the shoulders up. We'll end up doing different things. See, when you inhale, your body needs to expand to make room for the air to come in, okay? There's a number of movements through the body that create this space. If you've got poor posture or something and your body's in the wrong place, those movements don't happen, therefore other movements happen to attempt to make space. And this is how bad breathing habits come into play. So we're going to go through the entire first third of Yang Lu Chan's form, and I'm going to show you bit by bit exactly how to breathe, what you should be feeling, how to time it perfectly with each movement. So I will be showing you the technical details of how to time it in, but also the feeling, not just breathe in now, breathe out now, breathe in now, breathe out now. Nothing like that. I mean, no, I will cover that as well. But the extra things. Where are the pausings in the breaths? Where's the settle in the breath? How does that settling of the breath affect the settling of the body? How does the expansion of the body affect that flowing ripple through your body? And so on. Such as sit back ready. Now that is a beautiful movement on its own, without the little extra bit in the middle. The extra bit's beautiful as well, if you can handle it, if you're at that level. Now, I've seen many people go, okay, well, I can do that, watch. They can do the physical movement of it. And most people can. It's not that difficult. What we want in the beginning, and when I say beginning, I mean several years into your training, we want big, flowing actions, okay? Because that's the easiest, most relaxed, natural breath that we take. So when you have a really simple move, such as sit back ready, you can focus all of your energy on just linking the physical with the internal and slowing down and calming. As soon as you add those extra bits, your breath now has to change. If you're doing all these little extra bits, your breath does not move exactly the same as when we're doing larger movements. It can't, because the breath has to link with that physical movement. So if the physical movement changes, well, then the breath has got to change as well. So it's not the physical movement which is difficult about those postures. It's the breath that goes with them. Sometimes your breath starts the movement. It starts the posture. For example, from here, where are we here? In breath, out breath. Now the next move starts with an in-breath. Watch. The breath led me into that movement. Here's your in-breath. Now the breath still leads me into this next move. But where does the next move begin? That's the question. That's the tricky bit. The next move, most people think, okay, there's block right. Here's the step. And now here's pung. When you start pung, you breathe out. No. I begin to move because I want my body to be open just for the first, I don't know, 10, 15%. There's no exact amount I can tell you here. It's about feeling it, but it's... as you feel the weight start to sink into that front leg is when you start breathing out. Not there at the very first little push. So these are the kind of things I'm going to be explaining to you as we go through this course. And it just, everything's just harmonizing. Your fingers are tingling with that sensation of the breath swelling through your body each time you breathe. Then you try to add back in those advanced things. You lose it. If you lose it. Maybe you're actually ready for those moves, in which case maybe you can figure out how the breathing is going to happen for those moves. I do my form all the time without these extra little bits. Not because I can't do them, just because putting them in or not putting them in gives you a different vibe to the form. But it would be, it would be something like that. Maybe you've gone here and then, wah. See, there's an open close. Wah, wah. But see, it wouldn't be a, see? See what I mean there? About a long, prolonged opening and then crashing down into the closing, as opposed to a little ripple. When those ripples come out, you can get the opening and close over just an out breath or just an in breath. The best way to describe this is yawning. And then you breathe out, don't you? You don't go, and then breathe straight out. So follow the motion of yawning. In breath. Okay. So, you see? Try that. Just on a more obvious level. Just breathe in, throw your arms up. You see, so your breath gets to the top, your hands get to the top, and then they drop back down again. Now do the same thing, but with a circular motion, and you'll feel that your arms don't want to go, and they don't want to stop, because they're on a way, they're going that way, just like I showed with the shoe. So they don't want to stop anymore. So now we get, you see? It's when the body fully sinks that you breathe out. See, when you hear my breath stop, right? I'm making it a little more obvious so you can hear it. When you hear, there's the stop, you get, the hands, I mean, they still don't stop, but they're seemingly to stop. They almost stop because they're coming back on the same line. But with this one, watch here, listen to when the sound stops. You see? Because that's where the momentum stops. That was the end of the lifting. But the hands just kind of kept going along for the ride. Then I breathe out into that next movement. It's a very strong Qigong. So this movement here particularly, you've got to really use that out breath. Don't just go and sort of let the breath go into the next move. You want to milk this dropping part. It's quite obviously, if you look at the height of the hands start down here. They've got to lift all the way up to here. So it's a long movement. But then from here, they only go, There's not much drop, not much physical drop, but there's a hell of a lot of internal drop, internal sinking. And that should be with your out breath. So we've breathed in here. And of course, there's no weight in that front foot. And there's the settling point. You sort of touch the heel at the end of the breath, and then there's that settling moment. Then you breathe in. But see, I haven't really done the movement yet. This is the bit which is a little different than the other postures. You breathe in, then you do the rest of the techniques. It's out breath, in breath. Okay, technically, it's just sort of, it's like I'm thinking about hitting him, but it's not till I breathe out that I actually let it go, is what I'm saying, okay? See there, how the in-breath is just charging up the body, for the out-breath on that next movement. And then I'm breathing out for this strike. And again, I'm not I'm not doing separate strikes. This is all a flowing movement. I'm not emphasizing that to a huge degree. Till there. That's where I'm sunk enough so that I can pick that foot off there, because of course I've got to lift it up. So I'm breathing out. I'm basically breathing out until I lift my foot. When I lift my foot, I start breathing in, okay? Because it's a lifting upward action. Yeah, like when we do kicks in the form. So the closing components of the movement are all happening before you lift the foot off the ground. So, in breath, out breath. See that? I've hooked his arm. I've got his arm. I've got the arm lock ready. I've sunk my weight. I'm ready to go. Now I can wrench this arm across, pulling it across my body as I lift the knee up, as I inhale. So that's got an upward feel to it. And then of course, again, just like before, the floating moment will be as I'm placing the foot, and then same thing again as I come forward, a little bit of pressure, and then the out breath, just like the first brush knee twist step. This posture, if I were to do this martially, of course I would breathe out as I do that. Even though it's got a lifting element, you would 100% breathe out. You would not breathe in. As a Qigong, you breathe in.